Presenting the Sony TC 200 stereo tape recorder from 1964 in all of its vintage glory. My, this certainly catches your eye. It features stereo. No automatic on this oldie. All manual. Push button channels. Record channel 1 or channel 2 or both. We have forward, stop, rewind, fast forward, tone, line in out, power, tape counter. It has 3/4 inches per second and 7.5 inches per second. Let's get a closer look. I'm kicking it old school using the VHS camera for this, since the digital has failed me today. Now, this is the Sony TC 200. With beautiful Sony chrome. It's truly in good condition. It had both of these. I lost one. Here is your plate. This is back when Sony was called Super Scope. This tape recorder has a secret. Back. Over here we have aux in, left and right, channel 1, channel 2 mic, and over there, I doubt you're going to see it, is the secret. Over here is a vent. Microphone. Only got one. Can't test out the stereo. I'll figure out another way to test that. And the cord, which I do believe is the original Sony cord from 1964. What we do is go, cord. Let's plug it in. Let's plug this in. Here we go. There we go. We are now plugged in. Let's listen to the fan start here. Perfect. Now, we must plug in the speakers. And these speakers still have their original Sony tabs. Channel 2. I must show you this. Now, when I started messing with these things were crumbling. They were crumbling, so we have to be very delicate with this. This is an ancient machine. Has to be treated like an ancient machine. I'll place this speaker over here on my laptop. Hopefully that doesn't fuck up. Let's put in the second one. Now, for the price I paid for this, it was worth it. Believe it or not, after 50, 60 years, there we go. Okay, hold on. For this demonstration, we have a vintage audio magnetics recording tape, which cost us $7.50 back in its time. Here we go. Ooh. It looks a bit dusty, but this will be for our voice recording test. I already have some music recorded on this, so let's turn it on. Let's get do I want to I don't know if I want to take it off the tape. Test using my vintage crystal mic. Now let's rewind. Let's fast forward, show you what that looks like. Okay. Let's rewind. As you can see, not having much trouble, is it? Now, let's play the tape. Hello, welcome to this recording of the Sony TC200 stereo tape recorder model TC200. This tape recorder is from 1964 and it is running very good. When I first got it, It was working. It recorded perfectly fine. I had to clean the heads, but fast forward wasn't working, so I took it open and someone was messing with it. Now, I had to sand down the other wheels, boil them to get them nice and grippy, and we're working again with fast forward. This tape recorder was a decent good price. I got my money's worth. Now for a 60 or 50-year-old tape recorder, this thing is doing pretty well. All I replaced after using it for a while was the motor start capacitor. The 1.5 UF at 250 volt AC. 0 to milli M5. I had to replace that. But the tape recorder is running off original electrolytics from 1966. This is truly a ancient tape recorder that is still running perfectly fine. Now, this tape recorder,
Oops, I had to go into
when I got it, I had to take it apart, oil it, cleaned it, I did all that. I gave it a few test runs. It plays perfect with music. Perfect sound. Deep, clear vocal voices. The melody, the tone sounds good. But you want to know the secret to this tape recorder? You know that saying Sony's prided themselves as solid state? Well, you'd be wrong. Back in the 60s or 50s, transistors were out. But there was still some tube equipment. And Sony back in the day, I believe Sony started somewhere around in the 60s. Maybe if not the 50s. I don't know. But Sony started off in the 50s or 60s. Back when they started, all their stuff was solid state. Transistors. But what people didn't know is Sony had a few things that had vacuum tubes in them. Yes, you heard me right. This is a vacuum tube tape recorder from 1964. And it has all the original tubes. I tested them all. They test pretty good. They test almost brand new. This thing haven't had a lot of use. Now, the reason why I replaced the motor start capacitor, I was recording music one day, recording tracks, and then all of a sudden, the tape recorder made a pop and a hiss, and the motor was still going, and I'm like, oh, it's that motor start capacitor. That it was. When I opened it up, there was electrolyte or some weird foam all over it that had exploded out of the capacitor. I will show you what that looks like. I still have the cap. But this is new old stock Audio Magnetics tape. I'm pretty sure it is high fidelity. I don't know how good this is going to sound, but I have not recorded my voice in a while on this. It's been months. Hopefully it works. My meter is fluctuating, which is good. Now this tape recorder, being as old, it hasn't had any work. It's all mint and original, except for the motor start capacitor. I gave it a brand new one, ordered off eBay. It took quite a bit to get it to ship, but yeah. But this tape recorder is just, it's gorgeous. It's hi-fi. Well, I doubt it's hi-fi. I don't really know. It can record in stereo. This tape is not stereo because I do not have a second microphone. It only works with crystal mics, which is a shame. But, yeah. Let me just look at the tubes. Oh, yeah, I can see those tubes glowing in that vent. So, yeah. This tape recorder may have been through a lot, but it was barely used, and it still sounds good. Now, the electrolytic, it has a slight hum. Tad slight hum. But the electrolytic, it seems to be doing okay. It doesn't get as warm as that motor start capacitor did. So chances are it might be fine. Now we're going to switch this to 3/4 inches per second. Okay, we are at 3/4 inches per second. Let's adjust the level a little bit. There we go. This is 3/4 inches per second. It is quite slow as I am looking at it right now. It's pretty slow, but the motor is doing pretty good. Honestly, it does kind of look like it's struggling, but I'm not sure if it's struggling. Here, let me show you how quiet the machine is. That is how quiet it is. That motor is still doing good. Now, this tape recorder, I bought it for a reason. I bought it to be a prop, to play my music, and I've always wanted to use reel-to-reel. But, yes, I am using reel-to-reel, and I am 17 years old, and I cannot believe I'm using reel-to-reel at this age. This was something that was used in the 70s through the 90s. And I think in the 2000s, reel-to-reel wasn't really a thing, only in radio stations, I think. But you can just see the gloriousness of this tape recorder. It's just running beautifully. Okay, let me stop the recording here and see how it goes. Although the meter is dipping a lot into the red, but it might be capacitor issues. I'm not really sure. Yeah, that does look like, oh wait, there we go, perfect. So, let me stop the, tape recorder. Fascinating. Let me just write my thing down. Now, let me show you a test demonstration of me recording with this. Test 1, 2. Test. Okay. Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. That's perfect. Alright, we are testing the Sony TC200. This is a test recording of the Sony TC200 in 1/3 inches per second to show the video camera what it can do. Test over. 7.5 inches per second. 7.5 inches per second, everyone. This is 7.5 inches per second. This is 7.5 inches per second. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Okay. Let's there we go, that's on the counter. What the hell? Oh. TC200, this is a test recording of the Sony TC200 in 1/3 inches per second to show the video camera what it can do. Test over. 7.5 inches per second, everyone. This is 7.5 inches per second. This is 7.5 inches per second. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. And there we go. Now, for our music demonstration, we are going to rewind this. This is my test recording of the tape recorder. It's official test recording. We're going to play some music and show you what it sounds like. Wow, that's a lot of air that thing's emitting. Ooh, that thing smells fast. We got this tape. Got a few music picked up. Oh shit. unplug the microphone, and let's play some music.
Just you and me. We're all alone, waiting for one more show. Just me and my friends sitting here playing through radioactive sets. So take our hands, it'll be alright. That knows we praise tonight. It's the end of the
Press.
Ain't too sure what I believe in, but I believe in what I see. And when I close my eyes, I see my whole life ahead of me. These are all. This is our time. This is our time. These are all.
That was a fail. Well, that was a fail. Amazing, as you heard speech, music, and vocals, and the tape recorder still sounds good, like it did in 1960 and 1966 or something like that. Put my back to the 80s music back in there. As you can see, the Sony TC 200 is a good tape recorder to play music with. As you heard. Ooh. That's a bit weird. Oh, good. So, that is the end of this video, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation and my beautiful VHS editing. Thank you for watching. See ya.